When Jeremy Corbyn resigned as Labour leader, the received wisdom among the media class is that his successor should be a woman from outside London and the South East. Most of the candidates who put themselves up for the job tick at least one of the necessary boxes: Lisa Nandy, Rebecca Long-Bailey, Emily Thornberry. The very minute Keir puts his name in the ring, however, the criteria appear to bend to accommodate him. Keir's pitch is simple. He presents himself as, in some respects, an heir to Jeremy, publishing a list of the progressive pledges, which he says maintain the party's radical values and are informed by what he calls the moral case for socialism. Where he distances himself from the Corbyn project is in his supposed media savvy. In fact, the implication is that he might be able to use his pragmatic approach to get left-wing policies enacted. And it works. In April 2020, in the depths of the first COVID lockdown, Keir is announced as the new leader of the Labour Party, and thus the party's next candidate for Prime Minister. His pitch of socialism with an electable face, however, doesn't last long. Just 2 months in, Keir sacks Rebecca Long-Bailey, one of his former colleagues and leadership election rivals, from his shadow cabinet. The charge is one of anti-Semitism, albeit a pretty flimsy one. Rebecca's tweeted a newspaper article in which the actor Maxine Peake has, among many other issues, briefly discussed the Israeli military training US police. Just 4 months after that, Keir suspends Jeremy Corbyn from the Parliamentary Labour Party entirely, following a statement in which his predecessor condemns anti-Semitism, whilst also suggesting that accusations of anti-Semitism have been leveraged against him for political purposes. A report commissioned by Keir himself will later conclude that this was very much the case. But it's too late. Jeremy will never sit as a Labour MP again. This defenestration of people who Keir now sees as his political opponents is fascinating to watch. But whether pragmatic or principled, Keir's pivot to decrying the previous leadership of being deeply anti-Semitic involves him kind of pretending he wasn't there. He also quickly begins to pivot on policy. The 10 pledges which propelled him to the leadership are quietly abandoned. They gradually morph over the next couple of years into 5 missions, which are much more milquetoast. Opportunity for all, clean energy, safer streets. Behind the scenes, Keir appears pretty pleased, because his perceived tediousness contrasts with a Conservative government which is compelling to watch for all of the worst reasons. Keir ends up outlasting 3 Tory prime ministers, all of whom leave office in some form of disgrace. After 13 years of pretty chaotic Conservative rule, the country appears to be crying out for change. And when Rishi Sunak announces a general election will be held on the 4th of July 2024, that is exactly what Keir offers up. The slogan of change might be vague as hell, but that's kind of its appeal. When, on the 4th of July 2024, Keir Starmer strides into the Willingham Close Tenants and Residents Association Hall to cast his vote, then he's feeling pretty positive about everything that's to come.